Good morning, everybody. Thanks for taking the time to join us. My name is Tanner Watt. I'm a municipal energy specialist with Local Authority Services, and I'm joined today by Jeff Barton, who's the manager of the Energy and Assets division at LAS. Today we'll be talking about our energy planning tool. This was a tool that we launched in 2013 to help with the annual energy reports that are due on July 1st every year to the ministry. We just finished actually 2020's reports. They were extended to October 1st due to COVID. But the energy planning tool exists to make that process as easy as possible. It's one of our most popular programs. We have around 160 subscribers across the province. Last year, we added the ability to import data from the LAS natural gas and electricity programs. This makes it a lot simpler and easier to keep these numbers up to date and do your reporting compared to manually entering the data every year. This year, over the summer, we did a complete overhaul of the tool. We have a modernized interface. We added a bunch of new features, and we'll be going through those today. This is intended to be an overview of the new enhancements to the software, not an in-depth manual. We will be releasing a text user manual with the update, and of course, we are always here available to support you. We are recording the webinar, and it will be posted on our website for any staff who aren't able to attend the presentation. For question and answer, we're going to use the Q&A function built into Zoom. It should be at the bottom of your screen. There's a Q&A box. As we go through the presentation, if you have any questions, feel free to type them in. We will answer them at the end of the presentation. And as well, the software that I'll be showing you today is running on a backup server, so there may be a few lags in the demo. Once the software makes its way to the users, that will be working at full speed. We will be closing EPT on Friday afternoon to give us the weekend to make sure everything's working perfectly. So the software will be unavailable from Friday at 3 p.m. until Monday at 3 p.m. So with that, we will jump into the demo. So this is what the new energy planning tool looks like. You can see it's very different from the version that current users are used to. We have our different functions listed across the top in different pages, and each page is broken down into different functional areas. At the top of each of these, you'll see either buttons or drop-downs that let you interact with the data. Some municipality information at the top. This is the name and address of your municipality. This is just needed for your CDN plan. Below here we have a dashboard, and this gives a quick overview of how your municipality is doing with its energy consumption. You can modify these a bit, change which date you'd like to look at the charts for. Here you can see our server is acting up a little bit. I'll just reload that. There we go. And you can also modify a couple of the charts here, change this one to a bar graph, depending on what works the best for the particular situation. As you hover over the bars, you'll get more information, including the full number readouts in e-kilowatt hours in this case for each different category of facilities. And with any charts that you see in EPT, you can also simply right-click and select Save Image As to save them to your computer for use in a council report or presentation to the public or however you want to communicate that information. Below here, we have the contact list for EPT. You can enter in different people at your municipality who work with either facilities or energy or both. They don't necessarily need EPT access, but this is where you keep track of who has access to EPT. If you want to add in a new contact, you'd click here, fill in their information, and then if they need access to the energy planning tool, just check this box, click save, and LAS staff will be in touch to get them set up with a login to our website. The facilities section is where you're probably going to be spending most of your time. This is where we have the list of all of the different facilities and all of the energy that they will end up interacting with. So with any of these, you can double click to enter into a more detailed view where you have all of the information for this facility. We'll ask you to fill in the hours of operation for each facility. You can either put in yearly hours if you know them, or simply put in the hours it's open every day of the week and calculate, and it'll fill that in. This is needed for the provincial reporting. The energy and composition tab here lets you pick the different fuels that each building works. Many will just be electricity and natural gas, but if you're using fuel oil or propane or even wood, the software is able to work with those. And in the composition section, this is where you tell EPT what that building is used for. This is especially important for multi-use facilities that might have, say, a library and a arena in them. You can add in the different square meter areas and have EPT calculate the correct percentage. And you can also tell EPT what the default use for that facility is, because as part of the provincial reporting, each facility only gets one classification. So you're able to pick which one makes the most sense for those particular situations. We also have, for more data on that facility, you would click into Manage, and this is a more in-depth look at the energy use of that facility itself. So click here and go in. We've got a few additional charts. This will show energy consumption going back up to 5 years as you have data available, and a breakdown by energy type, electricity and natural gas, both in e-kilowatt hours. And if you have the data points, we can also do monthly updates, so you can see how your energy use this year is comparing to your energy use in the past on a monthly basis. You're able to set energy budgets and goals for the facilities if you would like in here. And the energy consumption section is the actual data entry points for fuel. So here we have usage. You are able to add in cost as well if you would like. That's an optional field. The province doesn't require it for the reporting, but many municipalities requested this functionality be built into the tool. And then below here we have production flow. This is only for water and wastewater facilities, either treatment or pumping stations. So back to our facilities tab, we've enhanced our data import and export functions. This was another request that came in from our users. So you're able to do a data import of either some or all of your facilities at the same time. If you click on this, it'll let you know how to set up the spreadsheet with the data. It's fairly simple. You can arrange the columns in whatever order makes sense to you as long as they're consistent, and you'll have a separate tab for each facility and each fuel type. So you're able to do an upload just for one facility, or you can do an upload for all of the facilities in your municipality at one time. We also have an export function built in. This will essentially do the opposite of an import. It'll create an Excel spreadsheet with all of the information in it for whichever facilities you've selected. You can have just one, like I've done here in export, or you can select multiple using Shift or Control. And this lets you either do a really deep dive into the data if you'd like to do some analysis, or it also simply lets you have an archive of your energy use in your facility, in your municipality. Below this, we've added a few additional charts. Here we have one that shows each facility with benchmarking data included. And I'll switch to 2019 since that's the last full year of data that we have. You can see with each line, we have a bottom line, a minimum, a maximum, and a median. This is based on the information that municipalities report every year to the province. They publish all of the data. You can see here where it comes from. And we've gone through and calculated what the minimum, maximum, and median range for each type of facility is. And this is corrected by the number of square meters of floor space. So this lets you see how your facilities are doing compared to their contemporaries around the province. And it also lets you see if there are any potential errors in your data. If you have a facility where your energy intensity bar is well out of that range, maybe there was a mistake in an entry point, maybe the number of square meters has an extra zero typed in or something like that. It's a good verification step for your energy records. In here, we also have an energy consumption chart that lets you compare different facilities over time. So this will show whichever year you've selected and the previous 4 years if the data is available. In this case, we only have data for 2018 to 2020, and that's what we're seeing here. So you can either see greenhouse, all energy types combined, natural gas, electricity, or you can switch it over to greenhouse gas emissions. And this will let you see how your facilities are doing with the changes you're making over time to make them more efficient. So as I mentioned earlier, if you get your electricity and natural gas through LAS, you're able to have that data automatically feed into EPT. That's what this account mapping section is for. So below here, we have all of the different entries, all of the different mapped entries that we currently have. And we'll make this box a little bit bigger in the final version. But what I'll do is I'll remove one here to show you how it works. It'll pop up in the top here. This is a natural gas entry from 2018 to 2020. Go in here and map the account. So the first time that you log into EPT with this data, all of your entries will be in the unmapped box. All you need to do is go in, find the account number. It'll show you the account name and the service address. And you go in here and tell it which facility that is. So in this case, we've got 124 Elm. It's a police station. We can verify that it's the police station at 124 Elm. That's the same thing. It's just telling EPT that this account number equals that facility. Click our Save Mappings. Now EPT knows that, and all of the natural gas data from 2018 to the current date will be attached to that police station file. The CDN planning section here, this is something where we maintained the current functionality that was built into EPT, but we didn't enhance it too much because the next plan isn't due until July 1st, 2024. So we focused on other parts of the software. We made sure to maintain this to the current standard, but over the next couple of years, we're going to be taking a really close look at this section to enhance it and make that next version of your 5-year conservation and demand management plan as easy as possible. So you're able to go in here, edit the different parts of the CDN plan that need to be done. You can attach documents, you can check the status, assign accountability for different sections if you'd like. But just be aware that over the next few years, this is another piece of the tool that's going to be enhanced in preparation for the next CDN plan that needs to be done. The conservation section is where you can keep track of the activities that you're doing within your municipality to improve your energy efficiency. So we have different types, process, programs, and projects. They have slightly different definitions based on what type of a project it is. You give a description, you can tie it to a facility if appropriate, create contacts, and monitor the progress of the project as it works through. We also have some financial calculation information available where you can put in lifespans, anticipated savings in dollars and kilowatt hours, costs, and a few other points to get simple payback numbers and a few others that the finance department will be interested in. And this is very helpful for keeping track of the effectiveness of the initiatives that you're doing to improve energy efficiency in your municipality, and also to figure out which ones make the most sense based on the cost and payback numbers. The library and reports section is where you will get the reports that are automatically generated by EPT. We have 4 available up here. First one is your 5-year conservation and demand management plan. This will download in a Word document that you can go through and edit and enhance. The annual consumption and GHG emissions report is the one that is submitted to the ministry. They will send you an Excel spreadsheet that they want you to fill in. Unfortunately, we aren't able to generate the report to directly submit to the ministry. We tried and it just wasn't practical. So we've created this report that matches the column and row layout of that spreadsheet exactly. So you'll download this one, highlight all of the data fields in it, and copy those and paste them into the ministry spreadsheet and then submit that. That's the simplest way that we were able to make that work. We've also created a couple of energy reports, one with all facilities listed and one with summaries based on facility type, just for municipalities that may have a lot of different facilities. And that lets you do things like annual reports to council or reports to the public on how the energy consumption of your municipality is changing over time. These are all editable Excel documents, so you're able to go in and create charts, highlight different sections of the report as necessary based on what it is you're working on at that particular moment. Below here, we have just a list of all of the user documents that have been attached to EPT. So with the CDN planning section, you'll be attaching files relevant to each particular step. And this is where you can go to see them all in the same place. And down here in the sample documents, we'll be filling this up with examples of different CDN plans and other documentation from municipalities across Ontario that you may find useful as you're working on your CDM plans. It's always nice to see what other municipalities are doing, and this will be just a repository that will create good examples of plans for you to refer to as you're creating your own. That is it for the software demo portion of things. As you can see, we'll also attach a copy of our user manual, contact information here. But with that, we'll shift it back and move to the Q&A section.
All right, thanks, Tanner. That's we're excited at LAS to launch this, and hopefully those who are on the webinar can see the benefit and the improvements we've tried to make for you guys. We do have a couple of questions. The first question, I'm not sure if we'll be able to answer this, but we'll definitely take it back and get you a response. But the question is, since facilities were closed due to COVID-19, how should the hours of use be entered? So from my perspective, I would suggest that we maintain the same hours. But let me take that one back to the ministry, because we are aware that COVID-19 has shut down a lot of facilities for the majority of this year. And so it could skew the numbers that are reported. We will find out, and we'll follow up in an email the response to that question. Another question is, does the annual BPS reporting data roll into this portal? Tanner, maybe you can talk a bit more about how the BPS portal and EPT integrate. I know that they don't directly, and we do some behind the scenes stuff.
Yeah, so EPT itself doesn't talk directly to the provincial reporting website. Um, we've created the report um, to fit into the ministry template. That's the best way that we found for those um, two pieces to interact to make the reporting as easy as possible. The data that is submitted for the BPS reporting is also used by EPT in our benchmarking numbers. So all of we're able to access, and it's publicly available as well, all of the information that the province collects. So we went through that, and that's what we used to create the benchmarking data. So it's a bit of a closed circle, I guess you could say.
Okay. There's another question here. Um, so this attendee, they don't enroll their social housing units in the LAS natural gas program because they're obligated to use HSC's program for social housing. So I guess they're wondering if the automatic download or import of consumption data works with other programs outside of the EPT commodity programs.
Okay, so the automatic entry of data, unfortunately, is only for the LAS commodity programs. But to enter in data from other providers, you can either enter in each data point manually using the web interface for each facility, or you can do a mass upload. So you can put all of the information into an Excel spreadsheet and enter that into EPT. And that's probably going to be the quickest and easiest way to go about adding those entries into your EPT profile.
Okay, and in doing that, it may seem a bit redundant to put it in a spreadsheet and then upload it in the program, but there are benefits to using the EPT now in that you can generate your graphs and do a very well. It's a pretty decent analysis of your energy use for each building for so that you can report out to council or to your teams, your different divisions at your organization.
Yep. And you're also able to choose if you want to enter in the data in a month on a monthly basis or an annual basis. We would encourage monthly. It'll give you a lot more information to work with, and it'll also give you access to charts like this to see how your facilities change over time. But you have the option of just doing one annual import as well.
So next one, can you confirm when reporting electricity, do the figures supplied through mapping on the EPT website use adjusted kilowatt hours? And can you remind users what figures have to be reported to the BPS? So maybe you can talk about natural gas and the electricity. What consumptions are supposed to be reported?
For the reporting, we're looking for, I believe it's cubic meters of natural gas and kilowatt hours of electricity. You can enter them into EPT using different units like gigajoules of natural gas, and the software will convert it automatically. I'm not sure off the top of my head if they are adjusted or not. We did look into it and make sure that the numbers that we're using are what the ministry is looking for. But we can do a double check and confirm whether those numbers are adjusted or not. Unless you remember, Jeff.
I'm racking my brain here because it's been a little while since I did this, but I believe we're supposed to use adjusted kilowatt hours and unadjusted gas, unadjusted for pressure, but let's confirm that in the follow-up email too.
Yep.
Okay. If there are any other questions, then please feel free to type them in the chat box, or excuse me, in the Q&A box. We'll wait around for a little bit, but Tanner, maybe you want to give a bit of information about when this is rolling out.
Sure thing. So we will be rolling out the software over the course of this weekend. So EPS will be unavailable starting Friday at 3 p.m. and it will come back Monday at 3 p.m. Just gives us lots of time to do the switchover, make sure we maintain all of the data correctly and get the software working perfectly before anybody else gets access to it. For anybody who is interested in learning more or signing up, I'll be sending a follow-up email either this afternoon or tomorrow to everybody who registered for the webinar. If this is something that is of interest, just reply to that email. That'll contact me directly. And we can either set up a software demo, or I can answer questions, or we can get started on the sign-up process if that's what you would like. As well, if you are interested in looking at the LAS natural gas or electricity programs, they do make the EPT natural gas and electricity make a great trio to make the reporting even easier. Same thing, just reply to that email and I'll put you in touch with our commodities team and they will be more than happy to do a free comparison. You just send them your utility information for the last few months and they'll be able to let you know what pricing would be for the LAS program compared to what you're doing now. Okay.
We do have one more question that's come in, Tanner.
Yep.
Can you speak to the cost of EPT and perhaps to expand on that as well, the number of users, etc., how that works, what the process is?
Sure. So the energy planning tool is a flat fee of $250. It doesn't matter how many facilities you have. That's what it is. We also have unlimited users for the program. So whoever in your municipality needs access to EPT or would make sense to have access to EPT is able to. We don't charge extra for any of that information. And there also isn't any sort of an added fee if you're getting the data imports from our natural gas or electricity programs. That's all included in that $250 fee.
Okay. I believe that is all the questions we have. If attendees would like, we can stick around for a couple of minutes yet in case there's any that pop into your head. And otherwise, we'd like to thank you for joining us today. A copy of this recording will be posted on our presentations page, and it will be sent out via email shortly after this webinar is done within the next couple of days. And again, if you have any more questions, type them in or contact Tanner. He'd be happy to help you out.
Yeah, thanks everybody.